Tupper Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. We're going to be talking about a no bullshit team coming to town, and that would be the Saints. The New Orleans Saints is a complete organization from ownership, front office, scouting department, and it's a plug and play team. And now they've got a quarterback to plug in there at Colby. He reminds me of a kind of a Ben Roethlisberger slash Lamar Jackson esque kind of kind of a quarterback. Of course, the sports talk radio can only talk about him, and that's why they're going to lose, but they can't talk about the defense of the New Orleans Saints as being maybe a factor in that win or loss theory of theirs. So you looked at the All 22, and for anybody who doesn't know, All 22 is the NFL's game film on each team. And Colby watched the Saints. I don't know how many of those Saints films he's been watching, but he's been watching them. And go ahead and tell us what you see.
So if we were facing Drew Brees, I would have went back and watched the film from the past weeks, but I was specifically watching the Taysom Hill tape from this past weekend against the Falcons. Taysom Hill is a very unique quarterback. I've never seen a quarterback quite like him before. In the past years, he has a combination of speed and he's very smart with the ball. He's your game manager type backup, but he can do a lot on the field besides playing quarterback. He can play tight end. He can play receiver. So I commend the Saints for sticking with him instead of going with good old Jameis Winston, but that's another story for another day.
But wait a minute, he's a name. Jameis Winston, he's a name.
Yeah,
they're not that kind of organization.
Well, I mean,
just grab.
Exactly. So I'm going to talk about the offense for the Saints, and then I'll go in the defense, and I'll let you talk about the offense, and we can go to the defense. So the offense for the Saints, Emmanuel Sanders, I think, will have a big day against us. He's going to want that revenge. He's going to want to stick it to Elway. They have Michael Thomas back in this game. Michael Thomas is a top 3 receiver, in my opinion. It's not just because of a name. It's because he's a damn good player. He changes the whole dynamic of that offense. But I think the thing that Denver's going to struggle with is the screen game with the Saints. They run a lot of screens because they have what is that? A great offensive line. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This offensive line for the Saints is probably a top 5 unit, in my opinion.
Wait, hold on a second. Time out. Is this a real top 5 unit, or is it a James Marilat top 5 unit?
It's a top 5 unit. I mean, this is going to be the Dolphins' offensive line. This is going to be the New Orleans Saints offensive line. Hold
on again. I got to stop you. You're saying they have an offensive line. So I just got done listening to Sports Talk Radio, and we're going to get a lot of sacks on this quarterback. We're going to get a lot of sacks. That's the product they're putting out. Just for
and the product that we're going to put out is we're going to put no bullshit on the table here. Okay, so this offensive line for the Saints, I wanted the right tackle for the Saints. His name is Ryan Ramczyk. Instead, we got Garrett Bowles, who. I have to give
tackle.
Yep, I have to give credit where credit is due. Garrett Bowles has played decently well this year for the expense of the rest of the offensive linemen, but that's another story for another day. They have a tight end, and I believe in Jared Cook, who is a very good tight end. He played for the Raiders a few years ago. He's one of your speed tight ends. So what I'm going to talk about is a screen game for the New Orleans Saints, and they have a guy named Alvin Kamara, who is a very unique running back. He can do it all. He can catch. He can run. I think they're going to do they're going to put him on a linebacker.
Sounds like Floyd Little.
Oh,
do it all.
He can do it all. I think what they're going to do is they're going to put him out against the linebackers, our great linebackers, and Josie Jewell and Alexander Johnson. I think this is a game where they're going to be really, really exposed. And another guy you have to keep an eye on is Latavius Murray. He is your poor man's version of Mark Ingram when he was with the Saints, when they had a 2-man backfield and they knew how to use them correctly, unlike the Broncos. So that's basically we
Shurmur.
just have. Yep. Another guy, Traquan Smith, is a receiver. So you got Sanders, Thomas, and Traquan Smith. So I think this defense is I think they're gonna hold their own, but it's not gonna be like what we saw this past weekend against the Dolphins.
Well, local sports talk radio in Denver says that quarterback, he's not good enough to get the ball to these guys. He's not Breeze. He's gonna get exposed.
Do they realize that Sean Payton is one of the best offensive minds in football, and he is a.
They did no. Don't talk about that. That none of that conversation comes up.
Well,
none.
Of course, because they put bullshit out, and Sean Payton is one of the. I think he's a top 5 coach in my opinion. I think the organization structure of this New Orleans Saints is a top 5 organization. That's why you see all the great talented players go there. They know how to draft well. They know how to get free agents in a strategic manner. And this offense, that you can say all you want about Taysom Hill. I've been a big Taysom Hill fan. I've been a big Taysom Hill fan for 3 years. I love how they use him, and I like Taysom Hill personally. I think that he's going to expose, and people are gonna realize here coming up that this isn't going to be Tua here. This is going to be Taysom Hill who can use his legs.
Injured Tua. Remember, he came in injured, hobbling around.
Well, and plus that was his 5th start. Okay, so let's just Taysom Hill's played in the league for a very long time, and he's played in playoff games. He's a damn good player, and
no mention of that. No mention of any of that. There's just not enough tape on him.
Well, okay, yep. Just wait. Sean Payton will know how to use him correctly. I wouldn't be surprised if Jameis Winston comes in to play a little bit of quarterback and he throws it to Taysom Hill for a few plays here and there. I think they're going to mix it up, and I think this offense for the Saints. I just love how the offense of the Saints how they run their schematic schemes, and especially their running schemes. I have something to tell everybody. Everybody tells me, oh, why do they have so much success in the screen game? It's because they have really good offensive linemen. They have offensive linemen that they have drafted and built up for the past 3 years.
But what did I say about the Broncos and why we don't see the screens? Because everybody says, why aren't the Broncos? Because Denver Bronco fans, you do not have the offensive personnel on the line that I've been pounding the table over and over for I don't know how many years now that we get. So we can't have that. This is why New England was so successful with that too. They are another one of these pinnacle of blocking teams, down to the foundation, built up from that. We're talking owner. When we're talking the Saints, we're talking it's a machine. Owner, coaching, scouting. Yeah. This is what I've been trying to tell you. What you lost with Pat Bowlen.
And to piggyback off of that, this is what you're going to realize how good this team is come Sunday. Everybody, it's going to be a trap game. The Saints aren't the Saints. If the Saints, I have something to say about that. The Saints are a team where they're not going to overlook their opponent. I don't care who they are. They can play down to their competition. But when you have a Denver Broncos team who just faced the Dolphins, who is not on the level of the Saints organization-wise, they don't have a meddling owner. They don't have a meddling GM. They let Sean Payton do his thing, and then we're going to be facing Dennis Allen, former Denver Broncos defense coordinator. Remember him, ladies and gentlemen, the former Raiders coach? So,
sorry about that.
You're good.
Okay. So what you're saying is that their owner doesn't think he's the head coach?
Oh, yeah.
Their GM doesn't think he's the head coach?
He's not Elway.
Hey, I want to talk about the trap. Now, it is sometimes common that interconference games is kind of a trapsy thing. But right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have stumbled a bit, and this game is a chance for the Saints to get that much further ahead of Tom Brady, because right now the Saints is Tom Brady's kryptonite, and they would love nothing more than to have Tom Brady. You come to our dome You come to our dome, Mr. Brady. We'll show you football.
And I also want to piggyback off of that. If Drew Brees was playing in this game, the Denver Broncos might have a chance to a point, but this is Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill, we all say that Drew Brees doesn't play well in outdoor games. He plays better when he's in the dome that you were saying. But this is Taysom Hill. You guys keep underestimating Taysom Hill. He can expose you. He's not just, sit back, drop back, your pocket, your Drew Brees here. This guy has legs. This guy can run the football. I wouldn't be surprised if they do some read option with him.
Yeah. I think this is a game. You look at Denver, you look at the Broncos, and you're just like, we can get ourselves another game ahead of Tampa Bay. We can get one over in Denver. This is one we can get. And I think that team is going to be believers, just like Tampa Bay was when they came here. They were believers. This is a team we can really get a win on, especially with a Taysom Hill, especially when you got that quarter, you got to sell it, right? Your starter isn't there. This is the kind of game I think you can sell to that team.
And I also would like to say this. Vic Fangio, I think he's going to do the best he can to keep us in this game, but I think it's going to be too little too late for the offense. I think going into the Saints defense, this Saints defense is legit.
The real deal? The real deal?
This is the real deal. You have Cameron Jordan, one of the best pass rushers in the game. They have a plethora of other guys on that defensive line, which, by you said, they built through the trenches out through drafting and smart free agency decisions. They also
they didn't get Jarrell Casey.
No, they didn't get Jarrell. Yeah,
they didn't get Jarrell Casey. They can't be good. They can't.
They can't.
Nobody heard of that guy you're talking about. Nobody's heard about him.
Oh yeah. I think their linebackers are way better than ours. Our guy named Demario Davis. This guy, Demario Davis, is you guys go watch the tape on Demario Davis. This guy is a side to side. He reminds me so much of Danny Trevathan, but bigger. And it's just sad that we had to let him go. I don't get that.
So when we get all this nonsense talk about Johnson and Jewell. I lost you. Are you still there?
Yep.
Okay, you still there?
Yep.
Okay. When we get into the nonsense talk about Jewell and Alexander Johnson, and you take a look at this guy and compare them, what's the comparison?
It's not even close.
So
those two guys combined with Demario Davis can't even hold his jockstrap. I'm sorry. Demario Davis is an absolute stud. He's a Pro Bowler for a reason. He is a All-Pro at his position. You guys, Demario Davis, and there's another guy, I forgot his name, but he is a good coverage linebacker. I don't remember his name. He has a long name, but him and Demario Davis together in that 4-3 defense, oh my gosh. You can't even pass in the middle. I'm sorry. I think that Drew Lock might have a rough day here. They have Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus Williams. I mean, this isn't a game where we're going to see them running. I don't even see us running the football very well this Sunday.
Do you see free runners? Are you going to see free runners?
Oh, we're going to see plenty of free runners.
Okay, this is a game we're going to see free runners. Offensive line of the Denver Broncos gets exposed again.
Yes.
And how does Garrett Bowles hold up to their
I think they're going to put Cameron Jordan on him.
And let everybody.
I think what they're going to do is what they did with Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware back in the day. I think he might play inside, he might play outside. They're going to mix it around a little bit, and I think it's going to give this offensive line fits.
Yeah. So so their line, front seven.
Their front seven's better than the Dolphins.
It's going to be good night. Good night, Irene.
Drew Lock might get hurt in this game.
This one he may get hurt.
He might.
Yeah. If he's still nursing injuries and this kind of thing.
Well, I also want to talk about this. I don't think that Pat Shurmur is gonna. I think he's gonna go back to his old ways in this game. I think he's gonna get tickled pink, and I think that he's gonna abandon the run game in a smart, schematic way. Hopefully, Mike Munchak says something to him, but I think that Pat Shurmur is gonna be. It's my way. We're gonna do 3 wide receiver sets. We're gonna go vertical. That's what we're gonna do.
Just go vertical.
That's what we're gonna do.
You just see regression. You see regression.
Yep. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's what I'm going to see in this game.
Think you'll see any pulling of the guard?
I think they'll try at the beginning of the game, but I think they're going to get tickled. I think Pat Shurmur is going to get tickled pink. I think he's going to put his tail.
And Pat's happy.
Yep.
So they have good corners and safeties.
Marshawn Lattimore is a top 10 corner. Marcus Williams is a stud. They have Eli Apple, I believe, and Preston Williams too. Very solid players. When Janoris Jenkins, I believe, is still there. So they have a plethora of good players. If Judy's out in this game, you're gonna have to rely on Tim Patrick and Noah Fant. Noah Fant isn't 100%. You can clearly see it. And Tim Patrick, I love Tim Patrick, but he still has a lot of work to do with Tim Patrick. He gives up on routes like you showed in the film breakdown. I saw it again this weekend when I was watching the Dolphins and stuff like that. He still gives up on routes. I think that this is a game where Deontay Spencer's out too with COVID. So we might see our boy Tyreek Cleveland out there on special teams.
Hey, you got Tyreek Cleveland. You know how are the Saints special teams?
They're solid, just like any other good to great team.
They've brought in through the draft and bringing up players, and so they're not like looking like the clown show out there.
I think this is going to be the game where you're going to see Tampa Bay 2.0, or it might be worse. I think it might be worse. This Saints team, I don't hype up teams as well as I do. But when it comes to Pittsburgh, Tampa, I don't care if Tampa has it down. They still have some good talent on that team. And then you got the Saints, and I haven't had this feeling since we played Pittsburgh. And it might be worse than that, ladies and gentlemen.
Sports Talk Radio has Denver winning this 17 to 21, 23 to 20, something like that.
So like a close slugfest game.
Slugfest? Buzzsaw. Coming right into a buzzsaw.
The Saints team, I watched their tape, and I don't care if the Falcons are a very good team. They just weren't coached properly, and that was shown when we played them. And they might have a good interim coach there, but this Saints team is on a whole nother level. They've been in the NFC Championship twice in 3 years.
Well, they may be the cream of the crop of the NFC. That's the thing about it too, is that
they might be the.
You didn't hear Sports Talk Radio talk about that they just may be the cream of the crop of the NFC.
And we get Mark Schlereth in this game, so he's not gonna hold back.
No.
So I think that you're gonna see a lot of. I think you're gonna see. The one thing I caution people to look out for, especially with the Saints offense, is read option. And bubble screens in the screen game. That's where you're gonna see. Oh, Taysom Hill can't throw it deep. Well, they're going to set it up. Sean Payton is a genius when it comes to the offensive side of the football. You don't think that Sanders is going to be ready for this game? I wouldn't be surprised if they evolve this game around Sanders just to stick it to Elway.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about it. This might be a blowout. I don't have any confidence going into this game.
You said that last week.
I did. We almost blew it too. With Gordon.
I know. But this isn't the Miami Dolphins. This is a different deal altogether.
Yep.
Well, I think they're going to come in feeling pretty good.
What do you think is going to happen?
Knowing that they have a chance to pull further ahead of Tampa Bay if they win this game. So I haven't broke down. I just know that I know the Raiders beat them. I don't know if you got a chance to see how the Raiders beat them, but the Raiders did beat them.
But the Raiders have the offense to keep up with that type of team, and they have the
Well,
offensive line to
that's
do
another
so.
thing too. They're a completely different team too than the Broncos.
They are.
They're So do the Raiders, or I'm sorry, do the Saints play Kansas City?
I believe so.
Yeah, that'd be a
Yeah,
hell of
we play the NFC South. They play Kansas City.
yeah, because that'd be a hell of a game to watch. That one. What's the status of Drew Brees?
He's out.
I mean, like out, or they?
I think he's out
just,
for. I think another. One. I don't know. Like 2-3 more weeks. I believe with a. I believe so. Don't quote me on it, but it's for a few more weeks.
well, and that was always my point too. These people love to say on sports talk radio, "Well, you gotta play," and I'm like, "Well, it depends. Do you want them? Do you want to set them down 1 week, or do you want to end up setting them down 4 weeks? I mean,
do you think that? What do you think that the Broncos' offense is going to look like? You think they're going to go back to the 3 wide receiver sets, or you think they're going to stick to the run game in a schematic way?
yeah, that's it. They always seem to blow everything. They always seem to revert back to their old ways of wrongly doing things.
That's why I don't trust Shurmur.
Yeah, it's that's another thing too. Is what are you going to see when you come out? That would be nice if the Broncos did like Mark Slayer said, build off of what you were doing correctly, not turn away from it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, too many times we've seen them turn away from success to keep doing what somebody stubbornly wants to keep doing, and not, like you said, I think it was you saying that a game plan around Drew Lock's strengths, instead of just saying, here's the plan, and this, Mike McCoy 2.0.
I also want to bring up the whole Drew Lock thing, if I may, for just a quick second about his strengths.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Drew Lock needs to throw it 40 times, okay? Drew Lock is the type of quarterback where he's like a Baker Mayfield, where if you have the run game going and you have a good offensive line in front of him, he can have success in this league.
Yeah.
But if you rely on his arm too much and you rely on him throwing 40 times a game, that's not his strength. And am I saying that is a recipe for a Super Bowl? Absolutely. I say that the whole running and building off that quarterback. I'm not saying a recipe for Drew Lock and this team to go to the Super Bowl is throwing it 40 times a game. You have seen plenty of quarterbacks in the National Football League have success when they rely on the run game, especially when it comes to December and January, because that's when the big boys play. And I don't care what people say about the whole new invention of the NFL. The NFL is still one in the trenches. I don't care what you say.
It will always be that way.
It will always be that way. That's why Denver was one of the top cream of the crop franchises, because Pat Bowlen knew that analogy so well.
Well, we used to know that going back to the Orange Crush days, back in the old John Ralston days. We built both, especially the defensive line. We had Tombstone Jackson out there, of a defensive end. And then, Tommy Jackson came in, and then Barney Chavis. Lyle Alzado, yeah. Barney Chavis was the anchor of it all. Yeah, I mean, we knew back then, what it was. And Steelers are kind of built off of that kind of mold.
Yes.
It seems to me Seattle maybe built off that mode too a bit. So
I would even say Buffalo too.
And Buffalo seems to be somebody finally got a clue out there.
Yes.
That was just a dysfunctional organization for a long time. Although I will give their owner credit in the fact that he never really was much of a meddling owner. But finally they got people that got their stuff together.
Well, he was going after the wrong people. I think that he had to sit back, do his research more than what he did in the past.
Yes, he had to get the right people to do their job.
Yeah, and Denver is not on that level. They don't have an offensive line and they don't have a defensive line. People want to crap on Vic Fangio. when you go back and watch the success that he's had in other organizations, what's the one thing that he had above anything else and why he was so good? It's because he had a defensive line. He had Neil Smith, Alden Smith, and a bunch of other players on that defensive line. He had it in Chicago with Eddie Goldman, Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack, all these players on the front seven that knew their position very well. And he comes here and he doesn't have that type of success. What do you think that is? Is it because he has a meddling GM?
Yeah. He doesn't have player personnel, and he's making the most out of what he's got.
Exactly. And you guys want to fire him? That's where I get confused. You guys want to fire him? Yeah,
somebody was breaking down the game film on the Miami. It was why did Miami lose this the way they did? It was a non-Bronco fan, and he said, well, the offensive line isn't that good, or the offense for the Denver Broncos isn't that good. I wrote a comment that says, shocked, I tell you. I said, we're talking about getting rid of Fangio so we can be just like the Giants back in 2019 when Shurmur didn't have any defense at all to bail him out of his misery.
And I told everybody that was a Vic Fangio win. I told everybody
they that was understand that. That was like
we'll never do it.
Right over the head, right?
So, ladies and gentlemen, you stay on this high horse for another 24 hours because once Sunday afternoon hits, you're going to see real team come to town. You're going to see real organization come to town that has built the team in the right way. Not going after athletic, talented players like Carlos Henderson, Isaiah McKenzie, Garrett Bowles.
Derek Holds.
But I will say one thing. I think he will be back in Denver. I think there's no doubt about it. I think he.
Well, that's Elway's one shining star. His one he can hang his hat on. So anything you want, Garrett, anything you want.
I think that's.
But then again, it's with Elway, it's always possible for him to get worse than that.
I wouldn't be shocked.
But we also know Lindsey most likely won't be here.
Oh yeah, he's leaving.
Von Miller's gone. So
Miller's gone. Yeah. Justin Simmons might be gone too.
He might be gone because they're overrated. We can just get another Boye to come in, right? That kind of a Jackson, something like that.
I mean, trust me, I want Simmons back. Do I think he's a top 5 safety at his position? No, I don't. But I wouldn't overpay for him. I think that you need a left tackle more than you do a free safety. That's just my opinion. I think offensive linemen are far above everything else. That you need an offensive line more than you need a free safety and a strong safety. That's just my opinion.
How long do you think Dotson will be able to play on the right side? I mean, you might as well get rid of Hot Tub Time Machine. You might as well just get rid of him.
What did I say to begin the season? Why did they? I said start DeMar Dotson.
Yeah, start DeMar. Yes. Well, you're not like Munchak. You don't know anything.
I don't know anything. I'm just, my analysis is trash. But my analysis is trash. I wasn't right about the pulling the guard thing. I don't know my stuff. So, but the whole DeMar Dotson.
We talk about that all the time on Sports Talk Radio. We talk about that the whole
we
show.
Tell the truth on this station.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Yeah, Cecil Lammy, my God. But the whole DeMar Dotson situation, I have been pleasantly surprised how well he has played. Now,
okay, so what the Broncos need to do is get his replacement because he's up there.
Yes.
You get him in the draft, you take him somewhere else.
I don't think they will because I think they're just going to let DeMar Dotson go and they're going to just stick with Hot Tub Time Machine. I think that's what's going to happen.
Whatever doesn't make sense, that's what they'll do.
Yeah, well, that's what's going to happen. That's what I see happening. I think Juwan James is Elway's Hot Tub Time Machine boy, and he overpaid for him. I said it was a bad move. I said you shouldn't have paid for that type of tackle who has barely played in his career. You could say all you want about Bryce Callahan, but at least Bryce Callahan is backing it up on the field.
Hey, thank you, Fangio. So,
thank you.
So what if you were to put a game plan together where the Broncos could beat this team? What will the Broncos have to have working for them to beat this team? Should they tie Shurmur up and like leave him at Dove Valley or something?
So what I would do, I think I would pick Mike Munchak's mind, especially in running schematic in the running scheme. I think that you leave Pat Shurmur to the passing stuff, although he has been struggling with the whole first down marker crap on 3rd and 3. As I
the drag route. Yeah, let's make sure that we throw it on our side of the chains there. Because that makes so much sense.
But I just if I'm game playing against the Saints, I stick with the running game. I don't pull the guard every play because they're going to figure it out. Well, they've already had tape.
Yeah.
But you can still find different ways to do it. Use the 3 tight end set again, which Mike Munchak used in Tennessee. Use the 2 tight end sets. Utilize those tight ends. You brought them here for a reason.
That's what we're going to see if they can stick to, or if they get away from that, right?
Yes, you're not. If they're going to get away from it, you're going to see 1 tight end on the field, or 2 tight ends here and there. What you saw against the Dolphins was 3 tight end sets 80% of the time, 75% of the time. That's what I'm talking about, the whole Mike Munchak thing. That's the Mike Munchak effect. If I'm Pat Shurmur, I go to Mike Munchak and be like, okay, could you help me, formulate a plan with the running scheme? I can handle the passing scheme. Could you help me handle the running scheme? Or vice versa, go hand in hand with it. I mean, you brought Pat Shurmur in for a reason. Okay, use him and Mike Munchak together. If they're not clashing, and they probably are, but that's what I would do. I would stick with the running game. You have to keep that offense off the field. It is hard against this defense. This defense is a top 5 defense, but you could still find ways to run on this team. And you can find smart ways passing the football too. We don't talk a lot about that. We don't talk a lot about how passing is also, you have to pass in a smart way. What I mean by that is you have to come with routes that help your receivers out, but also you have to formulate a plan where you have to have passing routes that are very confusing to the defense, but also help out your players in a smart way. Don't what we say, don't run harder, run smarter.
Run smarter.
Establish that in the passing game as well. Stop running the freaking drag route on 3rd and 3. It is not working.
At least get on the other side of the chain.
Exactly.
Do that.
Exactly. You almost got KJ Hamler killed. My God.
I know. See, the inclination is to blame Locke, but believe me, having played, I know a design play from a coach when I see one. That's totally, okay, then if you're going to blame, let's just say we'll blame Locke on that. We'll just say we will. Okay, Shurmur, make Locke, wait until, you got one, the person, everybody's on that other side of that. If you can't complete the pass, then throw it away because you're throwing it away anyway.
Exactly. And also the whole there's that play that you keep bringing up, and it just always stays in my mind, where it was against the Raiders and they passed it to Noah Fant and there was no one there. What the hell was that? That's what I'm talking about. That is the Pat Shurmur offense to a freaking T.
We got to defend that.
And I'll defend it like this. I mean, the whole Pat Shurmur thing. I ain't going to defend Pat Shurmur because he's a crappy offensive coordinator. He is a crappy offensive coordinator. Against the Dolphins, I went back and watched the tape. There's still free runners accounted for.
I know.
And you think that the Saints will capitalize on those mistakes.
Yeah.
The Dolphins didn't.
Yeah, Broncos cannot have 3 and outs. And on the other side, the Broncos defense is not going to be getting 3 and outs like they did on their Dolphins.
No.
That is not going to be happening in this game.
And I think what also is going to be happening, I think the Saints are going to be able to get short fields. I think that's going to be a huge. This is what you're going to see, a game like the Pittsburgh game, the Raider game, the Tampa Bay game. It's going to be a whole conglomerate of that all together.
And if the special teams for the Broncos looks like the clown show, it's really going to be bad fast.
Exactly. This might be over at half.
If it gets into that clown show stuff.
Or in the third quarter.
You know, one thing I notice is that people seem to come to our website during the bad times, not during the good times. Maybe because they actually want an answer, you know.
They want to hear bullshit.
Well, you know, I think in the good times, they got to take it when they get it, you know, because it doesn't come very often.
But like, okay, so we don't put bullshit on your front door, and I'm
Yeah.
going to continue to say that. We don't put bullshit out. I try to give you guys the best possible explanation on how we're doing here. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. If I was blowing smoke up your ass, number one, I'd be saying that Drew Lock is a top 5 quarterback. Number two, I'd say that Pat Shurmur isn't the problem. Number three, I wouldn't be blaming Elway for anything. If I was blowing smoke up your ass, those were the 3 key things I'd be telling you. But
Well,
I'm blaming all of them. I still blame Locke.
and there's plenty of that. There's plenty of that out there. That's why I didn't want to. I'm like a completely different animal out there. You know, and that's just probably why it's hard for people to really digest it, because it's just like, it's so different. You know, it is.
It's hard to take the truth.
Yeah.
Especially when Elway is so beloved by Broncos country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's problematic. Like I said, I've seen this already, this movie before, so you just have to get through it. So it's really going to come down to what Shurmur, you know, if he's going to go back, if they're going to go back to their old ways, if they're going to get cutesy. Oh, now we can get cutesy. Let's get cutesy. Yeah, let's do
that's
things
what you're going to see.
Yeah, let's not get down to nuts and bolts, like, you know, build something off of what we did right in Miami. So really, that's what we should conclude it by, is that, you know, we will be impressed with the Broncos, win or lose, if they actually try to build off of what they did correctly, try to build off what they did last week. But if they get back to their clown show, then we'll have a lot to talk about.
You will see whether or not this is going to be the clown show crap or this is going to be the Mike Munchak effect. You're going to see it early in this game. You're going to see this early in this game on Sunday. Trust me. You're going to see it early.
Let me ask you something, because me and you haven't talked. Have you put your feelers out there? Had people talked about this Munchak effect kind of thing?
No.
They did on that one show I was telling. They had a special meeting. They had Slareth and they had Columbus.
The War Room?
Yeah, the War Room. It was all on that. So at least those offensive linemen talked about that.
You don't, Mark Schlereth and Tyler Columbus, they're not stupid. They just act stupid because their producer will cut their nuts off. That's the only reason why they're doing that. They're not stupid. Tyler Columbus played in the Shanahan system. Mark Schlereth played in the Shanahan system. I mean, this isn't rocket science here. This is straightforward crap. They're not stupid. They're not Zach Bot. I'm not going to go into names.
No, but yes. So anyway, yes, that's my take anyway. Is you know, they're going to have to build off of what they did successfully in Miami. If they don't,
I'm coming on here and I'm saying Pat Shurmur is a train wreck. I don't care. You know, that's what's really frustrating. Really, you have tape right in your hand, the palm of your hands, and you ain't gonna build off of it, and you're gonna go back to your stubborn Mike McCoy ways. Like, seriously, you know, grow a set, build off of it, and help your quarterback out and help this offense out. This offense has sucked for 5 years.
Oh, so I wonder sometimes if they got Shurmur in so they could suck some more. I don't know.
Troy Aikman said last year, this is the worst offense he's ever seen.
I know. And he said it. He didn't say it in a mean way. He was almost like embarrassed.
He was shocked.
He was trying to say it in a way that he didn't want to sound mean or anything, but it was so glaring.
It was bad.
Yes. Mr. Elway.
Yep. Head coach Elway.
Well, he's not the head coach. He's the head coach.
Yeah.
They don't show him with that play-by-play anymore. That was all last year. He had that play-by-play. I'm like, well, who's the head coach here? He's there up in the booth. He's got the play-by-play.
And he has the freaking earpiece in it. He has the earpiece.
Yeah, so what is a GM?
We're not stupid.
Yeah, what's a GM doing?
What is the GM doing with the earpiece?
And a
Seriously.
play-by-play.
I saw Jerry Jones yesterday during Thanksgiving. I saw him with the earpiece and the play-by-play. He's the real head coach of the Cowgirls. This is ridiculous.
I know, that's the problem. And I think when your owner is that meddling, he's really going down. He's going down the Jerry Jones. He's going down the Snyder pathway.
Oh yeah, it's bad out there.
I mean, didn't Snyder? I mean, I remember Snyder came in. The first thing he did was like sit in the room with all their with everything going on, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, that's why Shanahan he got sick of it. Shanahan has the ego, and Snyder had ego, and they clashed. You know, and see, the Broncos and the Cowboys are in the same boat. Okay, the Cowboys have great receivers. The Broncos have really good receivers. I mean, seriously, this isn't rocket science.
Political.
Yeah. They're basically.
Hell, Davis, he had good receivers. Anyway, want to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We'll get with you after the game.
All right, we'll do. Have a good one.
I'll even put, if this turns out exactly like we said, I'll make sure that I'll link this pregame. Well, I probably should have been doing. We've been hitting it pretty close every day. Well, last week we were a bit off a little bit, but we were pretty much still on.
I still said the Dolphins defense is nothing to joke around about. They still played a damn good game. That defense isn't no joke. They're going in the right direction. I wasn't saying that this defense is like a Super Bowl contending defense. I literally said the trajectory was going up for this defense.
Yeah.
I didn't say this wasn't a Saints. This Saints defense is legit.
It's the real. They have arrived.
They have arrived. Yeah. There's a reason why they've been in the NFC Championship game twice out of the 3 years.
Yeah, they're considered the NFC's best by a lot of analysts that have
I would say they're the best in the NFC.
Do you know what the spread is with the Denver Broncos and the Saints?
No, I don't.
I don't either. I guess
I don't really pay attention to that type of stuff.
I don't either. All right. Well, we'll talk to you after the game.
Yeah, we'll do. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Bye.